Do you know that a cat knocking objects off the table is actually conducting a complex experiment on gravity? At least, that's what owners of furry troublemakers like to joke about. And there's some truth to this joke. Scientists who study cat behavior note that these animals do show remarkable interest in the physical properties of objects. Today we will explore why our beloved pets are so obsessed with dropping things from surfaces, and what is actually happening in their mysterious feline minds at that moment. Before we reveal all the secrets of this strange behavior, write in the comments if your furry friend knocks things off the table and what exactly they prefer to send into free fall. Perhaps your cat has a special collection of objects for experiments? Or do they choose only a certain time of day for their research? Your stories will help us understand how diverse cats' preferences are in this fascinating activity. In the meantime, make yourself comfortable and get ready to learn why your cat turns your home into a field for their experiments. So, let's start with the most obvious, the hunting instinct. Cats are natural hunters, and this has been encoded in their DNA through thousands of years of evolution. Their ancestors in the wild had to determine if the prey before them was alive, and the simplest way to find out was to touch it and observe the reaction. When your pet sees a motionless object on the edge of a table, their brain perceives it as potential prey that needs to be checked for signs of life. A light push with a paw is a way to determine if the object moves, meaning if it's alive. In the wild, this is an important skill that helps cats avoid wasting energy hunting non-living objects. Interestingly, this instinct is so strong that even well-fed domestic cats who have never hunted for real exhibit it fully. Scientists from the University of Bristol conducted observations and found that even cats who have never seen a live mouse instinctively know how to check objects for signs of life. But the hunting instinct is only part of the story. Equally important is cats' natural curiosity. These animals are true explorers who constantly study the world around them. By knocking objects down, a cat observes their behavior in flight and when falling. They analyze how quickly the object falls, what sound it makes when hitting the floor, how it bounces or breaks. Each time, it's a new experiment, and for a cat, it's a real discovery of the world. The feline brain is designed so that new information causes the release of dopamine, the pleasure hormone. Therefore, each new experiment with a falling object is not just entertainment, but also a kind of reward for the cat's brain. No wonder pets are so eager to repeat these actions again and again. Have you ever wondered why cats watch falling objects with such interest? The fact is that their vision works differently than ours. Cats see moving objects best, while static objects are less interesting to them. By knocking an item off the table, your pet transforms a boring stationary object into a fascinatingly moving target that is much more interesting to observe. This is a kind of self-entertainment for your pet. Cat vision is adapted for hunting in twilight, so they excellently capture even the slightest movement. Cats' eyes can perceive up to 24 frames per second compared to the human eye, about 60, but they are much better at detecting rapid changes in the environment. A falling object for a cat is a whole performance that they see in details inaccessible to the human eye. Another reason for such behavior is attracting attention. Cats quickly learn that certain actions cause an immediate reaction from the owner. If your pet has noticed that a cup knocked off the table makes you jump up and run to them, they will remember this lesson. The next time they want your attention, they will repeat the proven method. This is a classic example of learning by trial and error, except in this case, for the cat, it's more like a method of trial and success. Psychologists who study animal behavior call this operant conditioning, when an animal learns to associate a certain action with getting the desired result. Cats are true masters of such learning, and some of them can develop an entire system of actions that are guaranteed to attract your attention. Dropping objects is just one of them, but often the most effective. Interestingly, many cats prefer to knock down objects that are clearly important to the owner. Your glasses, phone, keys, all these often become targets for furry troublemakers. The reason is simple. Cats observe which things you interact with most often and conclude that these items have special significance. By knocking them down, the pet guarantees your reaction, and therefore the desired attention. Research shows that cats can remember up to 100 different objects and actions associated with them. They perfectly understand which items cause the most vivid reaction from the owner. Some particularly smart cats even rank objects according to their importance to the owner and start with less significant ones, gradually moving to more valuable ones if they don't get the desired reaction. You may have noticed that some cats prefer to knock things down at night when everyone is asleep. This is not accidental. Cats are crepuscular predators, most active at dawn and dusk. When you are asleep and your pet is full of energy, they look for ways to entertain themselves. Besides, the sound of a falling object in the night silence is especially loud and effective, which makes the experiment even more interesting for the cat. Cats' biological clocks differ significantly from human ones. Their peak activity occurs at around 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning and evening, times when small rodents, cats' main prey in the wild, are most active. Domestic cats maintain this natural rhythm despite living alongside humans. So your pet may be making noise in the middle of the night, not out of spite, but simply following their biological clock. Boredom and lack of stimulation are another important reason for such behavior. Domestic cats, especially those living in apartments without access to the outdoors, often suffer from lack of activity. They don't need to hunt for food or defend territory, so they look for other ways to expend their energy. Knocking objects down is a kind of game that helps pass the time and get the necessary physical and mental exercise. Veterinary behavioral specialists note that cats need about 30 minutes of active play daily to maintain physical and mental health. If this need is not met, they find their own ways of entertainment, which don't always please the owners. A cat regularly knocking things off the table may simply be signaling that they lack activity and attention. Did you know that some cat breeds are more prone to such behavior? For example, Siamese, Bengal, and Abyssinian cats are known for their high activity and curiosity. They more often than others turn your table into a testing ground for their experiments. These breeds require more attention and games, and if their needs are not met, they find their own entertainment, including dropping things. Geneticists explain this by the fact that some breeds were developed with more pronounced hunting instincts. For example, Bengal cats are the result of crossing domestic cats with the Asian leopard cat, and they inherited a high level of activity and curiosity from their wild ancestors. Maine Coons, despite their impressive size, are also known as great lovers of gravity experiments, especially at a young age. An interesting fact, cats not only knock objects down but also carefully study them beforehand. They may gently push an item to the edge of the table, watching how it moves, then stop and continue when the object stops moving. This shows that the process is not random for them. It's real research with elements of play and hunting. High-speed filming shows that cats often pause for a fraction of a second before finally knocking an object down, as if assessing the situation. Their pupils dilate at this moment, indicating high concentration. Some cats even change the position of their head to better see the trajectory of the falling object, which indicates complex cognitive processes occurring at that moment. Many cat owners notice that their pets prefer to knock down certain types of objects. Some cats are obsessed with pens and pencils, others with small electronic devices, others with glass objects. This may be related to the texture, weight, sound when falling, or even the smell of these things. Each cat forms their preferences based on previous experience and individual characteristics. Interestingly, some cats show real selectivity in their experiments. For example, one cat may ignore ceramic mugs but systematically drop glass cups. Another may leave heavy objects alone but methodically knock down light ones. This suggests that cats are able to categorize objects by their physical properties and choose those that give the most interesting result when falling. There is also a theory that cats may knock objects down due to the peculiarities of their vision. The cat's eye is better adapted for perceiving movement and seeing in the dark, but worse at distinguishing details of stationary objects, especially at close range. By knocking an object down, the cat may simply be trying to see it better in motion, thus compensating for the peculiarities of their vision. Cat vision has a blind spot right in front of the muzzle. Cats poorly see objects located directly in front of their nose. Therefore, they often use their paws to touch what they cannot see well. Sometimes such a touch can be too strong, and the object falls. What seems to us to be intentional dropping sometimes may simply be the result of a cat's way of examining closely located objects. What should you do if your cat constantly conducts gravitational experiments with your things? First of all, don't punish your pet. They don't understand that they're doing something bad. Instead, provide them with alternative ways of entertainment, interactive toys, treat puzzles, play complexes. Regular games with the cat will help them release energy and satisfy their hunting instinct. Behavioral specialists recommend using toys that mimic prey, for example, on a string or with feathers that can be chased. 15 minutes of active play twice a day can significantly reduce the cat's destructive behavior. Treat puzzles are also effective. They stimulate the pet's mental activity and satisfy their need to hunt for food. Another effective method is to move valuable and fragile items away from the edges of surfaces or hide them in places inaccessible to the cat. You can also use double-sided tape on the edges of tables. Cats don't like sticky surfaces and will avoid such places. Special mats with spikes, safe for animals, can also teach your pet not to jump on certain surfaces. Some owners successfully use the method of permitted alternatives. They leave several safe objects on the table that the cat is allowed to knock down. These can be special toys or items that won't break when falling. This way, the cat can satisfy their instinct without damaging valuable things. The main thing is to be consistent and not scold the cat for playing with permitted objects. Interestingly, the age of the cat also affects its tendency to drop objects. Kittens and young cats are much more likely to engage in such mischief due to excess energy and curiosity. With age, many cats become calmer and less interested in such games, although some retain this habit throughout their lives. Statistics show that the peak of such behavior occurs at the age of 6 months to 3 years. During this period, cats are most active and curious. After 5 to 6 years, most cats become more sedate and less interested in dropping objects, although individual differences can be significant. Some cats remain playful at 10 and 12 years old, continuing their experiments with gravity. There is an opinion that cats living in pairs or groups are less likely to exhibit destructive behavior, including dropping objects. This is explained by the fact that they can play with each other, satisfying the need for activity and social interaction. However, this is not a universal rule. Some cats may, on the contrary, arrange competitions for dropping objects, learning this behavior from each other. Japanese researchers of cat behavior have discovered that cats can distinguish between different types of surfaces and understand that objects on smooth surfaces are easier to move than on rough ones. This suggests that cats have a basic understanding of the physical properties of the surrounding world and can use this knowledge in their experiments. In conclusion, it can be said that knocking objects off the table is a complex behavior that intertwines hunting instincts, curiosity, the desire to attract attention, and the need for entertainment. It's not just mischief or malice, but a manifestation of natural feline needs and instincts in domestic conditions. Understanding the reasons for such behavior helps us better understand our furry friends and create an environment for them where they can realize their natural instincts in a safe and acceptable way. After all, cats are not just pets, but amazing creatures with a rich inner world and complex behavior shaped by thousands of years of evolution. And now, a question for you. What unusual objects does your cat prefer to knock down, and what tricks have you devised to protect your things from the furry gravitational researcher? Perhaps you have your own theories about why exactly these objects attract your pet's attention. Share your stories in the comments. Perhaps your experience will help other cat owners deal with this funny but sometimes annoying habit. If the video was helpful, don't forget to like it. This will help more cat lovers find this information. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss new episodes about the mysterious world of cat behavior. Share this video with friends who have cats. It might help them better understand their furry companions. Next time, we will reveal another intriguing secret of our furry friends that will surely surprise you. And remember, what seems like chaos to us is a carefully planned experiment for a cat. Appreciate your little scientists, even if sometimes they turn your home into a laboratory. After all, it is this unpredictability and curiosity that makes cats such special and beloved pets all over the world.